Improving your physical appearance isn't one grandiose act, event, or series of impressive actions, but rather the cumulative effect of very small and quite unimpressive daily actions. Everyone already knows this, so these are 10 micro habits that actually improved my physique. So if you didn't know, a micro habit is essentially a habit that takes very little time to be done. I'll say less than 5 minutes to make it more clear. Now bear in mind, I didn't implement all of these into my lifestyle because some of them just don't make sense for me and my goals specifically, but they will still be very useful to implement for most people. So the first micro habit to implement is weighing your food before you cook it. This doesn't take much time at all and it can make a massive difference in your ability to gain weight or lose weight. See, most of us are absolutely terrible at estimating how much food is actually on our plate. People who are trying to lose weight tend to eat way more than they're supposed to, and people trying to gain weight tend to eat way less than they're supposed to. Simply taking the time to weigh your food will essentially allow you to be accurate, and this will in turn make sure you're on the right path to achieve your fitness goals. Now, this doesn't mean you'll need to track every single gram you consume, but try to have a general idea of the big things that you eat. If you add a bit of lettuce on top of a burger, it really makes no sense to measure that as well. The second micro habit is about weighing yourself first thing in the morning. This is a means of not only tracking your progress, but actually making more of it. See, the main utility of a personal trainer is the accountability that it brings you, not necessarily the knowledge they provide. So instead of spending lots of money on a personal trainer, you can simply decide to create your own accountability by weighing yourself every day and making yourself aware of your current situation. Now, what you ideally want to do here is recreate similar conditions every time you weigh yourself, meaning you don't want to have extra food in your system, extra water, or any other variables in your system. So to achieve this, you want to weigh yourself first thing in the morning, before eating anything or drinking any water, and after peeing and taking a shit. You simply want to get rid of any random variables so you can get the most accurate measurements each time. Now, the third micro habit, which combines the first one as well, is to log your food in an app of your choice every single day. This will take you like 2 minutes a day and it allows you to know how much you're eating every single day. It's another form of accountability, if you will. For this, you can simply go for the easiest and most basic option, which is MyFitnessPal. This is the app that most people will use and will, in my opinion, give you everything you need for free. What you'll essentially need to do is simply log in the foods you're eating and how much you're eating of that food in the app. I do think that with the premium version of the app, you can simply scan a meal and it will give you the approximate calories and macros in that meal. So that's something that will make it even simpler if you're willing to pay the price. But if you don't want to spend any money, the free version will suffice. It'll just take a bit longer each time. Now, I've tracked my food for maybe like a month or so over the last 5 years. And the reason is simply because I eat the same meals every single day and it just doesn't make any sense for me to keep tracking. Like, I know how many calories are in the meals that I eat. So like, if I'm not gaining any weight, I'll just eat more of what I eat. And if I want to lose weight and I'm not losing any weight, I'll just eat less of what I eat. Like, that's all I do. So if you do have a more intuitive approach or you have the same meals every single day, it doesn't really make sense for you to track your food as well. So the fourth thing I believe you should implement is logging your workouts. Very similar to the previous habit, here we simply want to track our workouts as we do them or once we complete them. This will be useful for a couple of reasons. First, it will allow you to detect plateaus in your training much more quickly. If you keep track of them, you'll quickly realize when you've been stagnating for a while. Second, it will allow you to make sure consistent progress is achieved. Again, because your training sessions are tracked, you can constantly make sure that you're actually progressing further. Third, progressively overloading your training sessions becomes a lot easier. When you have all your workout variables noted down, you can easily look back and increase the weight or rep the next time. And finally, tracking your progress can serve as memories later down the line when you've made lots of progress. You'll be able to look back at the times you used to be much weaker with a sense of pride in yourself. So unless you have a more intuitive approach to training and that works for you, I think tracking workouts will be very effective for a lot of people. The fifth habit you can implement is simply to wear blue light blockers in the evening. I know they can make you look a bit stupid, but they do help block out intenser light and help you relax your eyes. Now, besides the benefits you'll get regarding falling asleep and regulating your sleep cycle, they'll have all sorts of benefits on many processes in your body in general. I really don't think we have the full picture of how much of a detriment blue lights are on our body. So with blue light blockers, I suggest you start wearing them about 1 hour before going to bed, and that is something that literally doesn't take you any time. You just pick them up and put them on your eyes. You'll be able to find good ones on Amazon for 30 or 40 bucks if that's something you want to invest in. Now, the sixth micro habit you can implement in your life to improve your physique is to implement a 5-minute cardio session on any cardio machine of your choice before a weightlifting workout. Now, I've done this for the longest time and it's something that I never want to stop doing because there's a couple big things this will help you with. First is the fact that it will simply get you warmed up and get some blood flowing through your muscles, which will then allow you to reduce your chances of getting injured throughout the workout. The second thing is because it mentally prepares you for a workout. You've most likely had these times where you didn't have much energy or you didn't feel like doing the workout, but if you just did a couple minutes of cardio or went through your first warm-up sets, you started to get some motivation and energy to actually do the work. Those simple 5 minutes of cardio have helped me get in the mood for many workouts that I probably wouldn't have done otherwise. So really think about implementing those quick 5 minutes, because sometimes that's all you need to turn a shitty workout into a great one. Now, the seventh micro habit is simply about preparing your gym clothes the day before. This is especially useful if you train first thing in the morning, because it allows you to not expend any mental energy thinking about what to wear. Preparing your gym clothes the day before has nothing magical to it, but it does reduce the friction to actually go to the gym if you slightly struggle with being consistent. If all you have to do is put on your gym clothes and go, it's easier than having to choose your clothes, hesitate on which ones you'll wear, then finally choose one, then put it on and then go. It essentially adds all these extra unnecessary steps and decisions to make that could interfere with your consistency. So simply make sure your gym clothes are ready for the next day. It will take you like a minute or so, and it can help you with staying more consistent if that's something you have more of a hard time with. Now, the eighth micro habit you can implement is to always have healthy snacks available around the house. A lot of times, successfully building good habits and breaking bad ones simply comes down to managing your environment the right way, meaning you should find a way to set up your room or house in a way that allows you to use the least amount of willpower possible. One of the ways you can do this is by having healthy snacks laying around the house. This is something that I've always done, even up to this day, and it does help me way more than you might think. Whenever I don't have time available, it's far too easy for me to just grab the unhealthy snack and eat that one, instead of controlling myself to not eat anything. Most of the healthy snacks I have laying around are simply things that I don't need to cook and can eat right away, like fruits, nuts, sardines, and a couple other things. So if you have an issue with eating too many snacks, sometimes the simplest solution is having healthy options available. Find the things you like which are also healthy and make sure you never run out of them. The ninth micro habit, which is one that I feel like is almost never talked about but is actually very useful, is to set an alarm for when you need to go to bed. Almost every single person on this planet that needs an alarm sets it for when they need to wake up. Seniors, adults, teenagers, it doesn't matter. Like, everyone sets the alarm for when they need to wake up. The more I think about it, the more it makes sense to reverse this thought and set the alarm for when you need to go to bed. If you think about it, if you start setting an alarm for when you should go to bed and you start really getting used to falling asleep at that time, the time you wake up at will take care of itself. Your circadian rhythm will start to regulate itself and you'll automatically start to fall asleep and wake up in between the same times each and every day. So start to reverse your thinking pattern and set your alarm clock for the time you need to go to bed, and this way your sleep schedule will simply auto-regulate itself. Now, the 10th micro habit you should implement is to develop the habit of planning your workouts ahead. Very similar to the 7th micro habit, this will allow you to reduce friction for doing the workout and actually increase your chance of doing it. If you get into the gym with no real clue about what you need to do, you likely won't do as much as you're supposed to do, or you'll go through a quite shitty workout. If you didn't know, removing friction to act good is often one of the best ways to actually start doing good habits and keep doing them. Having a plan will also allow you to do the same movements over and over again and not switch up based on feelings, so you can achieve a consistent progression and thus make consistent progress. I do understand that you can benefit from flexibility, but you want to try and stick with the same movements over and over again to achieve a steady progression over time. So start tracking your training sessions, which can be done with a workout tracking app, an Excel file, your phone notes, etc. Simply choose the thing that fits your situation the best. So we've covered 10 micro habits I believe can be very effective at slowly improving your physique over time. The way you want to implement this advice is to simply pick 2 to 3 micro habits within this list that seem to make the most sense to you right now and start by implementing those. The point of this video is not to force you to implement all of these things, but simply make you aware of some micro habits you could potentially implement and then let you choose which ones you feel make the most sense for your personal situation. As I said at the start, I didn't implement all of these either because some simply don't make sense for me, but I know they can still be very effective for other people. For example, I've never really tracked my workouts over time because I've always done the same exercises in the same order and all my sets taken to failure. I've always had that more intuitive approach to training and that's always worked for me, so tracking never really made sense for me. All I needed to know was approximately how much weight I was supposed to use and try to slowly increase that over time. I also never really tracked my food intake because I eat the same exact meals every single day with the same quantity. If I decide to cut down, I eat the same foods but a bit less of them, and if I decide to bulk up, I eat the same foods but a bit more of them, so tracking never really made sense for me. I've only done it for like a month or so to actually know how many calories and macros were in the foods I ate, but outside of that small period, I never really done it. Now, outside of those things, there's many things that I have done. I've weighed myself first thing in the morning for a very long time, and that's helped me keep myself on track on a bulk or a cut. I've always done my 5 minutes of cardio before a workout. I wore blue light blockers for a long time, even to this day, and so on. I've always had healthy snacks laying around, even more so now because I know how effective it is. So the point I'm trying to make is that you want to choose 2 to 3 of these things that make the most sense for your life at the moment and implement them as soon as possible, tomorrow or today. These are things which you can almost implement instantly and will have an immediate impact on your life, so I really don't see why you wouldn't try. So again, here's the list you can choose from. Pick 2 to 3 and implement them as soon as possible. So that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like, leave a comment. Peace.